All right, good evening, everyone. Hopefully, we're coming through. Painting streams are back. Yay! Who's excited? Yes. First things first. I'm streaming on Tuesday. What's that all about? That is entirely to do with the fact that we're coming through. Painting streams are back. Yay! Who's excited?
Why is that?
Yes. First things first.
Why can I hear it? Why can I hear myself? What have I unmuted? Aha, there we go.
With
Cool.
So we're there. Panic over. Lovely stuff. Checking the audio level is fine. Hopefully you can hear the music. If you need me to turn it up, shout in chat. First things first, we are back with the painting streams because I couldn't find anybody for stream today because this week has been a bit of a weird one. There's been some changes that are to do with the stream schedule and all that, which I'll touch on very briefly. So typically, you'd be expecting a Warhammer game back now, a live Warhammer game. Streaming is now going to be moving, so my schedule is going to be from Tuesdays and Thursdays are going to be the live games. I want to be doing more of these painting streams on Mondays, and maybe talking head on Wednesday as well, so really ramping up the amount of content that I'm throwing out for you guys, because I want to try it, I want to test it. The first thing that will be, take a while to spin up is going to be the talking heads, so I'm going to start with the painting streams first, hopefully every Monday, and then maybe some additional ones as well. So hopefully I've got most of the tech runs out of the way. We very nearly didn't have the stream earlier. I had to put a post out because there was technical issues. They're now solved. I do need to figure out something better for this face cam, but hopefully this content is good for you. If you guys like this sort of stuff, let us know. If you are new to the channel, I am Charles. I normally do Warhammer related, I do Warhammer related content. Normally it's battle reports and stuff. That's what I do, but I did start originally as a painting YouTube channel. So going back to those roots a little bit with the painting streams. If you want to support the channel, there are some wonderful YouTube buttons you can press. You can like, you can subscribe, and you can leave a comment or talk in the chat. Let us know what you're getting on with and how you're doing that. If you want to support the channel directly, there are multiple ways you can do this. There is super chats and super thanks being the best two ways to just throw money at my head directly. Or you can use Mighty Melee Games. They are the main channel sponsor. I haven't set any of these graphics up for the painting stream. I'm literally doing MVP, start with the camera, get the cameras working, get the painting going, and see how that works. But you'll find an affiliate link down below. If you click that and you buy through that, it won't cost you any extra money, but it will help support the channel. I'll get a little bit of kickback. So, with that, let's get into the mainstream. We're doing some painting today, so I have got the wonderful Fuegan here, and then somewhere I have a sermon half painted already that I want to finish off, but we're going to do Fuegan because I have literally not painted Fuegan in a while since my last attempt at Fuegan, which I'm going to grab. So, as you can tell, I'm so prepared about what I'm going to be talking about on this channel, or this stream. He was in a box somewhere. Now, no longer finds a box. That's fine. There we go. There he is. There we go. So this is my previous Fuegan. This is what he looked like beforehand. So he's had a little bit of a glow up. I'm going to put the headphones on so I can actually hear the music. Just so I know that it's not. I think so. This was the previous Fuegan that I got very very quickly about ready with an airbrush, and the new one. So 6 foot versus 5'11". The jokes just write themselves. I'm not going to be sticking with this original scheme. We're going to do a more traditional one, so we'll actually have an orange Fuegan. But I'm still going to do that hot pink, the neon pink melter lance, and then here's my sermon. Not really underworks. Started getting some of the base coats down, getting the blue highlights into the camera, onto the armor, and starting on the thing. So that's where our sermon's at the moment. But we're going to start very much with Fuegan. I have taken the heads off because it's one of the few things that I actually paint in sub-assembly. So let's get started with that. It's been so long since I've actually done a stream where it's basically my personality. Yeah, so what are you guys working on? Let us know in the chat. What is your latest thing? I do want to set up a palette cam at some point. I have one of the light tripods like next to the palette, so maybe for the next one I can fish out a spare camera and do that. So we're going to start by just blocking in most of the oranges that I can. whilst trying to keep everything in shot. I am starting without a Zenithal, going just straight in. I appreciate this will probably take a bit more work, but I prefer this style of painting when I'm doing everything by brush. I like the Zenithals for when I want to do a lot of airbrush work, but actually just painting, I prefer starting with either plain black or plain white. I should probably get some reference photos of for what Fragrant actually looks like, but I think we're just going to do a fairly traditional, everything is orange all of the time. Start blocking in those colours. I'm not overly worried about missing over the top of stuff, as long as I leave the shadows. I don't mind painting over details that will be painted later. So I already know that I'm going to do the fire pike with the neon pink, and I'm going to do his cape, or his how's this called? The robe, I guess, as the green, as that's going to be the nod to my actual Eldar schemes. I'm not typically a huge fan of painting all the different aspect hosts. They're different colours. It's not pointless to me, but I quite like the cohesion of a single paint scheme. I remember the problem with painting streams is when I try and think and talk at the same time, I can only really do one. So when I'm focusing on painting, hopefully the focus is good. It limits how much I speak. I need to get a smaller brush really for this. But as I'm halfway through like rearranging and moving my studio about, the nice brushes have gone walkabouts. I say that this isn't a nice brush, it's just a large brush. Should have a small one over here. This is going to be like extra small. That's extra small. Okay, let's try the extra small, see how it goes. It's probably far too fine detail for what is essentially just blocking layers, but give it a good old college try nonetheless. Maybe this is exactly what I want. I feel like I'm safe to have a bit more Eldar content on as long as it's not Ynnari content on the channel, as they are still quite the bogeymen's, but, and this is a big one, orcs exist. I very nearly started painting some orcs today for the hype and the engagement around their new detachment, which is, if you've not had a chance to play against it, utterly bonkers. I am trying to convince Dale to come on channel with the orcs. Hey Jolly, how's it going? So yeah, this stream is going to be a bit more interactive with chat, a bit more of me rambling around. All that good stuff. I was at Mighty Melee actually the other day. On this weekend just gone, me and Brendan went to their doubles event, and I took a Thunderhawk. We were fully expecting to like maybe squeak a win. You know, maybe get a win, probably not, but just have a bit of fun whilst we were there. I think we were gunning for the wooden spoon. That did not go to plan. As it happened, we won 2 of them, and we lost the final to the guys we beat second place in round 2, and then we lost to the guys that won the whole tournament, which was, you know, pretty respectable shift. Our list was 2 Ballistas, 2 Storm Raven, a Gravis Captain and a Combi Lieutenant, plus a unit of, I think we had like a unit of Intercessors. I can't remember. What infantry did Brendan have? I don't think Brendan had any interest. And then I was running a Grey Knight Thunderhawk, a unit of Purifiers, and a Tech Marine. That was it. My list was 3 units. It's a great event. Lovely fun at the doubles. So massive shout out to Gareth and Marcus, who won the event, beat us in the finals with 6 War Dogs and 3 Roll-On Commanders. It was an absolute nightmare for our list to try and play into, especially on Lynchpin. But they played it very well. They did what they needed to do, so well, props to them. And then second place was Dave and Alex. Trying to remember names is a bit of a headache. And we beat them in round 2. They were Bridgehead Guard and Invasion Fleet Nids. Lots of fun that game. I think I spent most of it just chatting away because I didn't have to do much. I drove the Thunderhawk into the middle and I just shot it for 5 turns. They very kindly tagged it, so I didn't need to think about moving. And those guys eventually came second overall, so well done to them. And thanks to Night Melee Game and Phil, I'll see you in the chat, for hosting what was a fantastic weekend. I had a lot of fun. I'm definitely going to be back for the next doubles. Although next time I think we might have to turn up the tryhard a little bit. I say that. 3 flyers was a headache for people that had never played into flyers before to try and deal with, and actually I don't think we used the aircraft rule once. I didn't. We fortunately played on UKTC terrain every round, and so I could just hover the Thunderhawk with some helpful ruling from the TO to actually make it usable, because it's just not a usable pick otherwise. But for the next one, I'm sure we'll cook up some sort of fun or something really nasty. Just turn up and go like full try-hard mode. Let's see how that goes. Okay, I'm actually like vibing with this smaller brush. You'll also have to bear with me because I've quite cropped in the front camera so that you get the crispy HD details. But it does mean that like where I normally want to paint is like here, which is very much not in shot. So, like that. And my messy desk from years of airbrushing and building. There's like just lumps of plastic glue, or not plastic glue, like super glue and stuff on the desk. Because when I have the normal white background, it sort of washed out all the colour. So that's why we're doing this, if anybody was curious. But just slowly building up these things. But if somebody is listening in chat, can they tell us how the mic volume is, how the music volume is in relation to that? It's quite nice for me to know, being this the first time, and the live monitoring doesn't really work. I've got my voice in my ear and it's confusing me. Fortunately, because there's this light up here at front for the face cam, which I very nearly couldn't get working. You can only just see like the 3D printer and the bookshelves. You can't see any of the mess that currently exists back there, which is all good fun. I want to get another camera for the palette, for the wet palette. I think that would be really cool. But actually getting to sort that is a challenge. Okay. And yet again, I forget to set up a poll. I guess I could ramble about the day at Slate. Actually, I can ramble about what I'm doing this weekend. So this weekend, I'm actually going to Amsterdam. We are going to Amersfoort, which is I think it's like a city. Outside of it, not outside of, like half an hour away from Amsterdam. Going for an international event, the Eurotrash Team Cup tournament, I think it's called, or Eurotrash Cup or something like that, with Team Island, which is going to be a lot of fun. Taking my guard lists were revealed today, so I'm not the only guard player going. I know people were after the day at Slate thinking guard weren't very playable. There are, I think, 2 or 3 combined regiment lists, and then 3 or 4 Hammer of the Emperor lists. So Hammer is one that people were obviously quite hyped on, but combined, which is what I'm taking, I think is stronger. I think it's got a better matrix, because I don't like driving all the tanks around. I find it a little bit difficult. But my list is going to be a Rogodorn commander, Lord Solar Leontis with a Krieg command squad, and 10 Krieg bodies. Then there are 2 units of 20 Krieg. Is that it from? Oh, I've got Gaunt's Ghost as well for a little bit of mission play. And then I have 2 units of 20 Krieg, a unit of 10 Kassakin, no, a unit of 10 Katachan, 2 units of 10 Kassakin, and 3 Tauroxes I think I've got in the list, which I very nearly was going to paint today, but it requires the airbrush, so that would be a bit of a headache to play on stream. or to paint on stream. Trying to figure out how to get the airbrush working. 2 Lehman Rush Demolishers. There's actually quite a few Demolishers turned up for this one. 2 Lehman Rush Demolishers, and I think that's it. 2 units of 10 Aquilons. So it's just lots of guard bodies. I think, yeah, the combined arms just has... The reinforcement strat is the main one. It's a very, very solid strat. But there's plenty of tricks in that book. Which is fun. But yeah, so that's where I'm going to be with Team Island, which will be a lot of fun. Hopefully I can take a bunch of videos. I kind of want to do a vlog out of it. I might try it and see how it goes. See what the reception is from the team. I'm sure they will very happily rip the piss out of me. All the same. But you can expect a talking head segment. I'll try and get some of the people on for a bit of a post-mortem after that. Especially as we head into more of the WTC season, as I'm going to call it. With the build at WTC, I want to do much more content around getting around the WTC. And sort of I'll run up into it, I'll prep what that looks like. So you can expect that to come up. Unfortunately, like, might not be involving Greg as much, given that he is he's going for Team England. So there's going to be an element of things that we can't discuss together, let alone on stream. But I've already spoken with my captain to figure out what I am and aren't allowed to discuss on stream, which is good. So that is the international breakdown. It does mean, however, I have to fly from Manchester to Amsterdam, which is like so bizarre. Public transport in the UK is a wild beast, because I can't just get a train to like Nottingham or Hull, are my nearest airports, and I would like to have flown from those because the flights were cheaper. But it is cheaper and quicker for me to drive 2.5 hours the wrong direction towards Manchester, get a flight from Manchester to Amsterdam, pay for parking at the airport, and then come back, than it is to just get a train to Manchester, which is just to like Hull or East Mids, which is Nottingham, which is just bonkers to me. But that's the situation I'm not being in. I'm realizing now that I'm painting his trousers. Maybe I should paint those a different color. I'll base coat them in orange, and then we can see how that goes. Let's just get everything done. I do like the return of the banners for the Phoenix Lords. I like that a lot. I've got Baharoth somewhere as well, Big Barry. But they're definitely feeling not much love, especially after the change in the date slate. A sermon is now a little bit... Well, a sermon needed toning down. He was a bit silly. But I'm quite happy to see that Eldar didn't get overly nerfed. The Fire Dragons went up, which was fine. But Ynnari was not touched, which I think is the problem. I think Ynnari is the problem child of the Eldar Codex at the moment. It is very, very difficult to play into, and it's very, very strong. So I would expect to see elf players in general be pivoting towards Ynnari. But we'll see. Hopefully it gets touched before too long. It gets toned down. Oh, it's been so long since I've actually sat and painted. Really, the past few weeks have been quite hectic with just organising stuff and preparing for, I guess, the new tax year. I've had to do all my expenses, which is, as anyone can tell you, a bit of a headache when you run a business. If you don't keep on top of it, it can very quickly get out of hand. So I'm probably going to have to spend another week or two doing that. The terrain. Yes, jolly. I never looked. I know exactly where it'll be if I have it. I have a on the Kallax sort of over my shoulder that you can't see because it's dark. I have an entire box of just unbuilt terrain. So the hard part will be figuring out which is the thingy. What's the word I'm looking for here? The Brutal and Cunning box set, and which is like, because I think I've still got like 3 sets of Octarius that I need to paint up because I did like a few bits for a video, which was a great video. That was a lot of fun to do. But I just I don't play on because I play competitive Warhammer and I just play on UKTC and WTC terrain a lot. And I needed to paint neither of those, so I don't actually paint as much terrain as you may expect, which is a shame because I do want to do like boarding actions and stuff. I have all these wonderful ideas and just trying to get the scheduling, trying to get the time to do it is the challenge. Get some coffee. Enjoying the small brush though. Small brushes. I really want my hands to like sit here, but I don't think I can make that work. Okay, I can go there. It's a little bit better. Cool. Not fast with the focus or the exposure. Excellent. Just gives me a little bit more control. God, this is a very, very nice model. I like this quite a lot. Stuff. I'm not really doing this with any rhyme or reason. I'm just sort of throwing paint now wherever I want it. Okay, not a fan of this song. That one. No? That one. Nope. My keyboard doesn't work. There we go. This is like the first royalty-free playlist I could find, by the way. It's not typically my sort of music. Or EDM and dance tunes. Could do like lo-fi, I guess, but it's kind of enjoying it. Kind of enjoying the change of pace. So with this, I'm just sort of colouring in 90% of Wagon. You can see I'm still leaving very thick black lines and gaps for the shadows because I just like having that guidance on where to place my highlights and such. I don't do anything too fancy like non-metallic metal here. I'm just going to highlight where makes sense. I'll just slowly build up these layers, still using the same orange every time. And hopefully these very thin brush strokes will all help add a little bit of texture. Don't fully cover over the build up the shadows, which is the goal. Yeah, it's about now that I'm thinking like, why don't I just do a load of lead work with the airbrush? But that would have been too much like smart work. I need to decide what I might be running at Sheffield if I go to Sheffield, because I don't think that Guard are going to be looking too hot after this weekend, but we'll see. We'll see. There's several options I've got. I've got Guard, I have Eldar, Sisters. I think people are rating Sisters again quite highly. I don't think they're that playable still, but I will be interested to see. I think Orcs just sort of stop them doing anything that they want to do at the moment, and Orcs are very much the big bad. Sustain 2 on an army is quite good with some enhancements. There is I think there's a +1 to hit enhancement that if you put on a shock attack gun and then put in with a unit of tank busters, is it? With the blast rockets. That will kill an infinite amount of guardsmen or T3 bodies. Which is quite funny, just with the blast and sustain 2s. The maths gets a bit silly there. So. Which is very funny. But yeah, so I think Jack Tight took down the 6++ GT with it. With Dakar Orcs. And then I think the South Coast Super Major I would expect to be won by somebody playing Orcs. I don't know who's actually going to that. But I know that there's I wouldn't be surprised to see Orcs on the podium though. I don't know if I want to do like these shoulder scales, something different on the trim. Maybe I will. I'll paint it all in orange and then we can see if I need to paint over it for a gold trim or something to add a bit of a break. But we'll see. Get to layer 2. Get some of the sword out of the way. It's not your time yet, buddy. Oh, it's been so long since I painted on camera. That's yeah, I fully went to dig out all of the the technical issues. Let's ramble about them for a bit. So I went to dig out the set this up because normally I stream sort of downstairs as well. We've got the space for this the gaming table. So I went to I unpacked a bunch of stuff and I moved the computer up here, and nothing worked, which was great. So I don't if you saw the post earlier. Basically, there was I think an issue with my USB hub, not a hub, that's not the right word, buses, and the USB controller sort of freaked out, and everything was like saying it was all USB 2s rather than USB 3, and that meant that the capture card that I use, which is an Elgato Camlink, does not work on USB 2.0. So when it saw USB 2.0, it just sort of went, nah, no thanks, sorry pal, not tonight. And was just throwing a wobbly at me until I did pretty much everything under the sun. Like I turned it all off, turned it all on. I tried different ports. I tried direct motherboard ports. In the end, I just cleared the CMOS, so like reset the BIOS, and that seems to have fixed the problem. So here we are. Oof. Getting a little bit chilly. It's been a really nice day today, but now it's getting a little bit cold, and I still have the window open back there because this is a very small room. It gets very stuffy very quickly, so I have the window open pretty much all the time. And I don't 3D print in here before people, or whilst I'm in here, I should say. If I'm 3D printing, it's usually like overnight or whilst I'm out for the day, or I'll go and work in a different room. Is part of the joys. Okay, so that's the oranges are coming along quite nicely. Just sort of very haphazardly working my way around here, which is probably upsetting for some people. Just sort of paint the bits that I want to paint when I want to paint them. I wonder what colour gems I'm going to do. I might do like pinks. Could be a good accent colour throughout to unify with the rest of my Eldar scheme. Not that it necessarily is going to go very well with the orange. I'm going to come back in and do some like black bits or a dark blue on the panels. In between his like leg joints and such. Joints, that's what I was looking for. Which reminds me I need to do my Duolingo. So, yeah, the new stream schedule, guys, is going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. That sort of gets around the access requirements for the room now that my housemates are back, basically. That's how I'm going to term them. So we were using Tuesdays, which is a shame because I quite like streaming on Mondays. There wasn't a massive gap. There wasn't loads of like content creators doing stuff on Mondays, so we're going to move back to looking at doing Tuesdays. But if it doesn't work out, or we may go back to Mondays. We shall see. I still like the Thursday stream. I think like a good break between then and the weekend. Lets me get some last minute prep in for a list without, usually because deadline like submissions passed, not pressing. But we shall see. Oh, crunch goes the neck. Okay. I don't like how this chest is coming over, but also always touch up more. It's required. This orange is, I want to say, rust orange from Two Thin Coats. They tend to be my go-to paint at the moment. I really enjoy their consistency, and the fact that they're colour matched with Citadel means that when I have clients that want a specific Citadel colour, I can find a very, very close approximation, which is very nice. So, for example, the Drakari that I'm currently painting up for somebody, which I was almost going to paint on stream, but it's like mostly finished. I'm just waiting on some bases to arrive, and then we'll be able to wrap that one up. Which I'm excited to show people, because I don't post anywhere near enough about the work that I actually do. I've got Drakari on the go, I've got Demons on the go, I've got some Ultramarines, which I can show off actually. I'll take a little portfolio break. To show off the work I've done there, because I'm very happy with how these have turned out. So we'll let that dry a bit, because otherwise I'm just going to overpack and such. So we have painted recently a Ultramarines Land Raider. This is to my Battle Ready Plus level, so we've got that's new, that's scrape. Look at that, some battle damage. So, don't worry, that's supposed to come off. We've got Land Raider Redeemer. No, this is just a normal Land Raider. I've already done a Redeemer that went out a while back. And of course, where is it? Where is it? It's a Storm Raven. We got Storm Raven Supremacy on the go, so we've got a nice glowy effect on the Tech Marine. He's got the red shoulder pads for Mars. We've got a nice. I'm really happy with how the Achai lighting turned out on all of this. So the client's very happy with it. Nice and simple. I do like painting Space Marine vehicles. Much more satisfying to paint because they're just big bricks. The Thunderhawk was lots of fun, so I need to actually do a proper photo shoot with the Thunderhawk at some point as well. That was a long old session of edge highlighting there. I think I did like 4.5 hours of edge highlighting on it. So yes, right. Back to Papawagon. We're going to come in now with the mid-tone of Fanatic Orange, which these two are like... This whole triad is quite a weird one. Like the saturations... it's not saturation, the values, I think, is the technical term. Changes quite a lot. Like these two are fine, and then it goes very, very yellow here. Or like these two are fine, and then it goes very desaturated. So we'll see how this goes. I know two thinkers aren't technically triads, but they're close enough in progressions for me. Oh, I could have done him with so I got the Army Painter John Blanche set. Could have done Fuegan with those. That would have been quite cool, wouldn't it? Because that is, they do actual progressions in the Army Painter series, or the Fanatic series, I think it's called. And I think my paint style, or my style of painting, works quite well with the John Blanche sort of artwork theme. It's quite scratchy, and whilst I do like to do smooth blends, I also quite like quite scratchy and rapid jumps. My own stuff, as hopefully this will see. Certainly my sermon, I think, shows off my Gillimans. They are quite sketchy, I think is the paint style. I will word it. So let's just drop in all of the lovely highlights. It's going to take several layers to really highlight up this this orange. Because orange is a very tough one to get coverage on. It's quite low pigment density, and when you thin it down, that only exacerbates the problem. We'll see. We might come back in with some like brown glazes to reinforce the shadows in a second. But let's get this first set of highlights in. Then we'll come back in with the base tone. Fairly simple, standard approach to 4K painting. I don't think I'm going to do loads of edge highlighting. I generally don't edge highlight elves. Mostly because there's loads of it to do. And mostly because I think that can take away from the more like flowing aspect of how their armor is quite... Yeah, flowing is perhaps the right word there. Broadly just looking to cover 70% of, well, maybe the top 2/3 of what I've just highlighted, or what I've just base coated with this, so that when I glaze back in, it brings it back to about 40% for transitioning to the shadows, which I think will look quite nice. And now is where I start to be a little bit more careful about really trying to preserve those darker lines. I'm not a fan of this music or this song. The EDM vibes, ain't it? I might switch to lo-fi in a second. Orange with the shadow colour. It's a bit patchy in a way that I don't like. use the highest saturation and pigment of the bright colour, mixing it in about 50-50 with the shadow colour. I'm just looking to reinforce some of these areas where the coverage isn't quite so good. I also appreciate the white balance. Looks like it's like, see, it's quite vibrant when I hold it over the white. I think the wood is potentially tapping the contrast a little bit. The face of concentration. What do I want to play on Thursday? That's going to be... Normally I'd just play whatever I was, taking to the event. However, can't really do that because it'll all be packed, ready to go, because I don't want to accidentally leave anything at home. So I ADHD touched everything, put it in the suitcase or the travel bag. That's not a suitcase. This morning, being very productive and ahead of schedule. There we go. This is starting to not as dramatic as the shifts in colour as the blues I use on a sermon are, but I think it's still fine. I think we can still build that drama in. I'll start mixing in some ivories with this orange for the big highlights. Go from there. Make the blend quite aggressive. Might do the job we're after. Okay. Gonna sneeze. Ugh. Oops. There we go, he's coming along. Build into his cummerbund a little bit more. There we go. Alright, and now we get back to the original tone. Quite thinned. Just glazing it back. Pulling back these shadows on the lower half here, closer into the gaps. I don't know how I'm going to base these guys in a way that's going to fit, because they're both stood on rocks. We'll have to have a look later. We'll have to have a think and a play. Tired. It's a shame that streaming in the evening is the best time to stream, because I would love to be streaming. I guess there's no reason why I couldn't stream like during the workday and just do my work streams. Maybe I create a Twitch account for that. Yo, Josh, I am not going to South Coast. I am going to Amsterdam for a Teams tournament. So I will be there at... because South Coast is this weekend, I think, right? So I will be going to Eurotrash, which means I'll be missing that. But Sheffield I will be at. Sheffield should be good fun. If I can figure out what I want to play. It's always the challenge. It's not going to be Eldar, despite the fact that I'm painting Eldar. Alright, let's see how bright this highlight is. This final highlight. Need to figure out what beats orcs, and then I'll just slam that and hope it's enough. There are certainly some theories that I've heard going around about what's good into orcs that I want to test. Yeah, this is it's much more yellow. Maybe you can see that on the camera. Yeah, it shows quite well, which is good. Nothing beats orcs. Vanguard nits. I've managed to beat orcs once or twice, so it's definitely doable. But I think it's far too mission dependent, and the orcs getting or making mistakes rather than me necessarily outplaying them. Vanguard nits is probably a good idea, and I think anything that's sufficiently fast that can punch through them and get them all tagged up is probably... That's why the success I've had at least has been, is just, you know... I was testing the new TAD attachment, and I just charged crisis suits into them. And I was like, deal with that in your water. But I say that, like, Gaz being in a permanent war was a bit of a headache. Renegade Raiders might be able to do it. Gladius Ultramarines probably as well. Just out gunline the gunline. Maybe a route to take. We'll see. Are you doing South Coast? What are you planning on taking to that? What fresh? I'm going to table you in 20 minutes. Have you decided to take? New demons look fun. New demons might actually have some play into it. If not just for the obnoxious number of Uppy Downy. I guess Emperor's Children are going to be really, really popular as well. For Sheffield, so I don't know if they're out in time for... I guess they are, right? I guess they are playable for South Coast. Chaos Cult. Okay, yeah, still running the... Here's a brick of AC/DC that people forgot were a problem, so... Just reminding them, doing your civic duty. But I guess that's going to face into orcs and go, oh dear, you have the blast. You have the blast keyword. I'm in danger. Because that's what I found as well. Is like my guard list, which has 50 guardsmen, just sort of evaporates. Like Host of Ascension, maybe? Ooh, GSC. Ooh, that could be fun. I could dust the GSC off. It requires a lot of learning though, which I'm less thrilled about. Okay. I'm liking how this option is coming through now. It doesn't look as stark a divide as it does here in person on the camera, but I think that's just where the where the angle of his boot plate, I guess, finishes up. Did Lisk go live this week for, like today for South Coast? I bet there's going to be loads of Custodes players and loads of Orc players just testing out those lovely new detachments. I'm going to be intrigued to see how the Custodes one actually materialise, because as cool as it is, I don't know the necessary strength of having a bunch of blokes wandering around. If only for the fact that it can really stop them getting their army roll, because if they're near each other. Biosantic I think is too elite. Unless you're running like 30 bricks of Metamorphs, like 3x10 Metamorphs with 3 Biophages to get that access. Maybe. I think you go Host of Ascension and go, I'm going to go toe-to-toe with you on the gun line, except my gun lines come back and yours don't. But like, yeah, a lot of the counters that I've thought of really just struggle popping transports and then the guys inside in the same thing. Except for melee lists that go disembark somewhere where I can tag you is quite nice. Invasion Fleet Nids probably also do a fairly decent job of it. Let's try and put but I don't know. I was hoping that it was sort of like the Star Shatter reaction, where everybody's like, oh my god, the sky's falling, Orcs are really good, but then realise you can just sort of stand behind a wall and they're fine, because it just drops the damage. Does not seem to be the case, unfortunately. Let's try and get this blend going a little bit smoother. It's weird painting with the camera because it's showing me the differences much more starkly. Okay, there we go. Oh, it is just the tilt and the reflection from the camera. I see. But Chaos Knights, maybe. Just don't really care too much about it, but I'm not convinced. I do kind of want to try Chaos Knights for an event, because I got my shit absolutely pushed in by them in a practice game, and I was like, that looks kind of silly. Granted, I'd taken a mechanized guard list that was like, I'd hard built to go into Bridgehead, Tactical Orcs, all of the Eldar, and like elite infantry stuff, because it was, here's 3 units of Flamers and Tauroxes, 2 units of Kassakin, 5 Tauroxes, 4 Tauroxes, a bunch of Catachans and stuff, and it was like, I've got all the Flamers in the world, and they're damage too. And then he was like, yeah, Chaos Knights don't really care. It's like, I killed 5 Chaos Knights, and then just picked up everything else, and it was kind of sad for me. Kind of not a fun matchup. I just want to... I would love to know... I would love to see the future and know what the WCW is going to be played on, so I can start getting my army ready for that. Because I want to do it. I want to do it justice. I'm like this close to just buying a new army, all fresh, all well, not straight from GW, from Mighty Melee, because I'll type Mighty Melee, and just like going as ham as I possibly can on the paint job for it, which I think would be very cool. Very cool. A lot of fun, but we'll see. There's still like 2 data slates between now and then WTC will dictate a large amount of what I'm playing. So realistically, it's whatever I'm taking to WTC will be the faction that I take to WCW, because it will be the one that I have like the most reps with. And reps are quite good, I've heard. Definitely felt the change since I've only started playing really like 2 or 3 factions. Then meta hopping every weekend. Ironically, it was when I got my best results, but much more consistent now, which is good. He's coming along. Our lad Fuegan. Yeah, this last yellowy orange is adding the pop that I wanted. far too long since I actually got to paint for myself. Yeah, who's the other big bad in the moment? It's Yanari. I haven't figured out a good answer for Yanari. They counter guard quite nicely, but I think fast melee can counter Yanari. Like, oh, if I don't shoot you, you don't get to do your silly end of phase movement, but you do get a lot of fight first. But we'll see. We'll see. Because I know Vanguard Nids don't necessarily like that matchup, depending on the mission and the terrain, and I know. Yeah. Maybe Yanari. Ooh, maybe I do go for Yanari. Have a bit of fun with it. Could have fun painting the Vizark again. And Yvrain and the Incarn. I really want to lean back into doing like triple Knights Runner Incarn shenanigans. It could be good fun. Let's be a little bit more selective about where I'm painting stuff here, because this is the backside. It's going to be slightly less light, so it's all a little bit less bright. There's some very light glazing. Maybe even mix in the orange, mid-tone orange a bit more. God. Very heavy music, not my style. Okay. I will. We're in March, May, I think it is. I don't think it's April. I'm going to be at the Carnage. Oh no, it's the South Yorkshire GT, which is Carnage, Dyson Bolter, and Steel City. Together are running a big event in Sheffield at the Outpost, and I think I don't think I know. I'm streaming that, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Sort of the latest update on top of the table streaming events since the Carnage drawn. I've had people ask me about that, so there's the little update there. And I officially a sponsor-ish, I think is the technical term for the Carnage team. So they're gonna have my logo on their jerseys, which is really very cool. Will not give me an ego trip at all. You know, having my logo on my local team was enough of an ego trip. So woe betide that, but do recommend you go check out Carnage Competitive if you are in the northish area of the UK. North of the south is how we're gonna phrase that. Because their events are always good fun, and the players are usually all right. They're quite nice. I like the Carnage a lot. Yeah, okay. I'm happy with how this orange is coming out. They're very tequila sunrise. Definitely picks up a lot brighter in on the camera. I like that. The ISO picks it up a lot nicer. So I'll probably have to work some magic in go even brighter. Let's just balance out. Ooh. My pants going mental. Oh, stretch. Get those shoulders worked out. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, lovely stuff. How's the stream health doing? We've not dropped any frames. It looks. Why do I have better signal here in a pokey little studio on the Wi-Fi than I do on the wired connection when I'm actually in the streaming room? That's the question mark, really. Right. I'm gonna put a sword over the sermon. Oh bugger! I forgot about his helmet. Right, let's do his helmet, shall we? Get the big brush. That's the big brush. His base coat's established. Do I want to do the glow from his top down? How do I do it on the last one? What do I do? Yeah, I think center outwards and then top down. I think it's going to give a nice bit of contrast. His head hasn't actually changed. His head's about the same height, the same size. It's just his body that's got in the gym. Excellent. This is screaming out to be done with an airbrush, frankly. But we're here now, so that'll be fine. Excuse me. Yeah, it's maybe a bit too thin on this one, but oops, I'll just let that dry before I go back and faff with it. Always the best thing to do. Let's just leave it to dry. Leave it and then come back and change it. I'm not going to worry about painting around his lettering on his faceplate because frankly I'm going to come back and detail it and pin wash it later anyway. To get this all blocked in. What's his weird, is it a jaw mask thing, or is it all... Okay, yeah, okay, I see. I see, I think we're going to do that, in hot pink as well. I think that'd be quite cool. Do his face mask, or his face grill. His fake teeth. This scene win Battlefield Birmingham Regard. Now I think about it, I don't know if that was new points or old points. I think it might be old points. Pre-slate this submission. Guard very much not still dead. Sorry, that's what my head has been musing on. In the background, must have been painting away is where I think guards sit at the moment. I think they're still absolutely fine. They are going to be a lower win rate army, but they were always one of the, much like Marines, is they have such a wide player base that their actual probably competitive win rate is
a few ticks higher than whatever the official data says. Which is good for me, because it means, you know, guard will get some buffs that they don't necessarily need. And then guard players could be happy. So I said, right at the top. So we'll let that dry. I probably need a few more coats before it's built up to an opacity that I'm happy with. Do I start work on anything else? The areas that need a little bit of work. Yes, could do with a little bit of touch up down here. Go in here. Smooth this out. Just make sure it's all painted. Before I get the green and start going for his. Nothing else. We'll just come in and start glazing in the darker orange. And all of the downward facing areas. Accentuate. Yeah. This tile lag is like backwards and under the shadow, so I want that to be quite dark. I'm really confused about this blend here. It's just glaze. I don't think it's that stark, but I can't really figure out why it looks so extreme. Maybe I'll just pull that down underneath it and have it into this corner. If I have it fade away into this corner, it might look a little bit more natural. Something like that. I don't know. Let's go that mid-tone. Hasty is not the right word for the application here, but it's a very fast glaze because I want the texture to come through a little bit. Which is quite nice. You know, paint this bit that I just haven't painted. Very thin because I do want it to be very dark still, but I want it to be very much tinted orange. This glove could do a bit more. And then what am I going to do about the banner? I think I want the dragon to be in gold. Do I just go for like really high contrast, like have like a white banner with this black circle in it, and then gold and orange on this runner sort of thing? That might work. That might work. Or maybe I do the runner in green. And the dragon in gold. The dragon in orange. Maybe not. So this dragon could be in gold. The runner in green. The circle in. I don't know. I think I've talked myself into doing a white banner, white, green, and then black with gold and orange. You know, that doesn't sound like a bit of a faff to paint.
Maybe the painting streams won't be as long as the normal streams, because trying to focus for this long is going to hurt my head and my eyes when I do it late at night. Or later at night. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm enjoying this. There's bits that I just haven't painted. Let's recoat that. Drop that orange. Really slow and steady with these. How much metallics do I want to do on this? That's going to be the next question. I think quite a lot. I think it's like Eldar don't typically shy away from metallics, I don't think. So I don't think I'm going to either. Like the silvers and golds could be quite a nice contrast. Be quite cold silver. Building that contrast up. Let's take our time with the fire. Yeah. Definitely need to pick better colours to paint on stream. Show it better on the camera. Maybe that's why Zenithal might still have been worth it, so you guys can see the details that I'm working on. Rather than it just, I don't know, I can just pretend I'm doing really sick freehand. Yeah, wait. A little bit of a drop. I think this is built up to the opacity that I'm after at the moment, which is nice. Let's go back to the helmet. Just back to the big brush. Nice big brush, plenty thin the paint. Smush that all in there. Maybe not so much into the details because it'll pull weirdly, but onto these nice big flat surfaces. We might get a few tide marks, which is certainly less than ideal. So maybe not over thinning it. Might be a smart idea. Lovely stuff. After I am. And we get to the next orange, the little banner thing. I like this like working in tandem sort of approach, where I do one step and then the other. It means that I'm never just sat waiting, which is quite nice. How do I want to blend this? I think we'll go for about quite a heavy.
This orange being very much the mid-tone.
And get the highlights in.
Spots that I missed on the main backpack. I mean, yeah. It's coming along nicely. Ooh. Oh, I need to go to the gym tomorrow. It's the other thing I need to stop scheduling is when I do arm workouts, because painting after arms is a chore. When you can't really hold the paintbrush, that's a bit of a challenge. Okay. It's just going to be a patience game, I'm afraid, on the Boygan's helmet. I don't know how well it's going to show up, but it's drawing with quite a few tide marks, quite spotchy, but we'll see how it looks in a sec. Kind of don't want to change to another colour, like I could be doing like the greens or something now, but I'd rather not because it will dilute the water. I potentially could change how it looks slightly, like even ever so slightly is probably still enough. And it's such a faff for me to go and actually change the water because there's not a tap in this room. It's like go down, rinse it all out, and not really something I want to do whilst I'm on stream if I can avoid it. So I'll just work through and see how it goes. There's not enough of this desaturated yellow now here. Just want to really start to reinforce. I guess painting streams on Wednesdays, working progress Wednesdays could be quite cool. Could be quite fun. I'm now realizing that like how his chest is probably slightly too orange now, like too vibrant. There's not enough shadow showing it. Like there's no black at the bottom, which is sort of what I wanted to hit, but that's fine. It will look fine on the tabletop, I am sure. Maybe I glaze in some reds into this flame. It just does not look extreme enough. Transition. Well, this side looks a little bit better. But I was just coming in a very fine red in when I highlight the circle. Helmet check. Just a little bit of. Oh, I've just royally fucked up the back there. You can see the giant fingerprint I've just left here. Whoops. That's why we do not touch. Look, but don't touch. I would love to do like some sort of glowy effect on the axe head, but no, I'm not that good. Okay, but like a non-metallic metal, I think But I want to see how the rest of the model shapes up, or because I could use that to incorporate some blue tones, some quite cold silver. So I think we'll take this opportunity to start base coating the banner. I'm using ivory colour. Ivory. Because then I can mix this in with the brightest yellow to add like the very final set of highlights. For the orange. Should be quite nice, I hope. And it'll also give me an idea of how the scheme's coming together. This is... No, we might not be doing this because it's going to be quite an orange colour when I try to thin the water, thin the paint. So we're not going to do that, we're just going to straight up mix the ivory in with the very bright orange. Get an even more desaturated colour for some final. See how bright this is. Yeah, that's what I want it to do. That's exactly what I want it to be doing. Scratchy highlight. Bringing it all together. Not like an edge highlight, but kind of like an edge highlight, I guess. I'm actually painting it onto the flat of the armor as well. Blend that out. Make sure it blends up. Nice and thin. Nice and thin, just. There's a James who we've had on the channel before playing Eldar. He has a very similar painting style to this, but his is much better than mine. I take a lot of inspiration from my Eldar paint schemes from him. I'm not, not ashamed to admit it, because he's a very good painter. I really like the look that it does. Just a little bit more love for the glaze up here. There we go. Now we're talking. Maybe it doesn't look like that on the camera, but it looks... I'm liking how it looks here. I think it looks alright on camera. Certainly does on my screen, which is a nice part. That's a bit much, but that's no bother. We can just go back in and re-establish the blend. A little bit of wet blending fixes most sins.
Pop in orange, Jacob. Thank you very much. I'm glad glad you like it. It is. I'm happy with how it's going. Yeah, orange is traditionally can be quite a challenging colour to paint. I've certainly found it difficult in the past. This and yellow is definitely challenging. But this is coming out very, very nice. Top of that. And then we get to the back side and we do it all again. So we're going to thin it even more so that it dries slightly darker, because this is obviously the side that's in shadow. It's a little bit too heavy there. Come back and sort that easily enough later. Just doing a tiny tippy tap on these raised edges here, almost like an edge highlight. Pale in. What's that mix I had? Glaze it back a little bit. Back and forth until I'm happy. I need to do these little knobbly bits on these shoes. Just do that from scratch. Let's not rush that. Let that dry. Yeah, very happy with how this is coming out. A bit more orange than pale. To that, smooth that down a bit. There we go. Stuff. Ooh. That. I think I'm a little bit too ham on this right hand side, so let's thin down that mid-tone orange very heavily and just pretty much glaze it all over. Start to bring that back into the realms of where I want it to be. More of an edge highlight there. And up on the shoulder pad. Let's bring it in towards the centre. It's sort of non-metallic, sort of not. I like that. I like how that looks. It doesn't read as non-metallic as much as it might on the camera. I think the white balance might be freaking out a little bit, but it's fine. Very, very light highlight here and here. That's what I want to achieve. quite a scratchy one. Keeping it the contrast that I want, but not pushing it over the top. Knock it back when it's too strong, like that. Right, back to the helmet we go. Let's see if I can recover this. Be the last coat of this orange that I need to do for this, which is quite nice. And then we can go into getting those highlights up. I want a really solid base tone. Because this is going to be more of an exercise in blending than I'm happy about. Because generally my blending is pretty weak. Definitely a technique I need to practice more of. I have a whole video dedicated to me learning how to blend it. That I learned a few years ago for some Necrons. I used it in about 3 commissions and I haven't touched it since because it's had a lot of work. I am pretty lazy. But yeah, hopefully go for about 25 more minutes. Wrap the stream up at around 8:30. Because I think it's been quite a nice little test run for the painting streams. Let me know what you guys think about it in the chat if you're enjoying this sort of content. If you like it, like the stream. If you want to see more of my content, hit the subscribe button. If you want to support the channel, go spend money at Mighty Media Games. Won't cost you any extra, and I get a little bit of kickback. And you save 20% because pretty much everything Phil does is 20%, which is very nice. All that good stuff. Got a text from Gareth saying stop helping my opponent. Oh, I'm on the TV in Mighty Melee. Look at that. They had my stream up all that weekend as well. Let's not accidentally dox my phone number. Look at that. That's me in the background up on this TV. We were over there this weekend. They had us on, which was quite nice. Good luck, Alex. Oh, I feel cold. Right, stop looking at my phone. It's very unprofessional of me. You get distracted by going buzz, buzz, buzz in the corner. Just punch the table. I'm gonna stop. Just stop touching stuff. It'll be fine. Right. Yeah, I like how this looks. I like how this looks a lot. I can probably get away with doing, a little bit more back here. Let's see if we can do. I don't know. Let's do something interesting here. I think. Well, let's try. Wet blending. Highlight colors in there. Ooh, yeah. Orange does not like wet blending. That's what I'm discovering. Not fun. Not fun at all. Yeah, so my thinking is, I did not do a very good job of building this guy. I don't see there's a little tab at the top of that, so right. Largely speaking, this is all going to be ivory. Which I know I said I wasn't going to do the first coat with, but I'm not thinning it yet, because this ivory particularly, I found, is pretty much the only two thin coats of paint that I don't like thinning, because it splits the pigment down, and as you can see, it's slightly hydrophobic on the primer as it is. This is like a white banner with the green running through the center, and then a black disc with the
the dragon in gold. I think it's going to look quite nice. So this will just be like a... hopefully the same colour as I've done at Sermons. Cape. Oh, not cape. Cabard, I guess? Crotch blanket, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's my sermon. How he's come out. But I want this ivory colour. So it's like a grey, a very, very dark, light grey. Sorry, not dark. Dark white, light grey. Which is just an exercise in patience of blending whites and greys and all that fun stuff that I typically hate doing. For somebody who paints as a job, I should do complain about painting, don't I? Jesus. Jeez Louise. Ah, bloody hell, I'll just wash the brush. Let's make sure I dry it off properly. Is this song sampling sirens, or am I hearing sirens outside? I have got my window open, so it's a very real possibility. But I don't live in a city, so maybe not. Yeah, when I first started commission painting, I was like, this is great, I'll just do painting streams as well as, like, of the stuff that I'm painting, and then I realised, like, how impractical that was, given my work pattern is just sort of bouncing between 3 different projects at once. And they're all, like, you know, if I have a single character, then it's great, I can just sit and work on that on the stream, but typically I have, like, 3 or 4 different armies on the go, and then I just chop and change when they're using similar-ish colours. With alarming regularity, and then like I have no discipline in what's, you know, the space that I'm in and like how tidy it is. It's just an absolute mess. Yeah. This paint very much reminds me of like Wolf Grey from Vallejo, or Stonewall Grey. It's quite a smooth coverage, very, very quickly over black, which I like a lot. Temptation to have this like a millimetre from my eyes is very high, but then you guys won't be able to see, and I don't like that. Right, how are we looking here? Still a little bit spotchy, which is a shame. Especially because this bit at the bottom is where I want it to be darkest, so it can't really be the spotchiest bit. Cover that over, cover that over. Oh, the back's really bad. That needs a lot more work. Base coating orange sucks. Should have done it with an airbrush. Just giving it all this base coat orange. But we're here now, so we shall make do. And because the airbrush would give a different finish to the brushwork, I want this to match the rest of his body. That's why I'm not just giving up and doing it later. Coming along. Whew. Oh, crunch goes to the back. Oh, yeah. So yeah, we'll have Do I do these tassels in the ivory? I'll do these tassels in the ivory as well, I think. See the slightly hydrophobic primer there, which is quite annoying. It's so inconsistent when it, like, so I use Colourforge as my primer for most things, and like sometimes it will be really hydrophobic and then sometimes it'll be fine. They did have a really bad problem with it at the start, but they fixed it very quickly. So I think it might just be the, like, probably more nice with paints than I'm using than the oh, we're disconnected. Are we back? Are we back? I think we're back. Good. I don't like it when OBS throws those sort of alerts at me. There's OBS. Yeah, okay, it looks like we're back. That's good. 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 I do enjoy this weapon. Let me grab that one. Grab the screenshot. Very decent work in progress photo of him. How his arm is coming along. Okie dokie. Let's start with still drying back in. Ooh, it's starting to rub at the top there. That's concerning. Must be very, very thin paint. I'm gonna get this done and then just leave it. Get it varnished. Okay. Excuse the sniffles. Coming off the back of an illness, it's not fun. I guess one of the advantages of me having the window open and the room being cold is the paint is not drying quickly, which is good. It's not drying out my wet palette either, which is also good. Maybe I should be wearing gloves when I'm handling his head, but it's whatever. Ooh, very hungry noises from the stomach there. It's usually the indicator. Oh, I've only quarter past 8. It's not that late. Don't know why it's deciding that it's hungry now. I'm not sure if this camera's like slowly tilted down as the stream's gone on. But unfortunately, so the bright light is right here, hence the weird lighting. Otherwise, it's right. If this is off, you get much better view. But then I don't have the light to see the painting. Yeah, I'm liking how that's looking. The kind of he's coming along now. Roughly in the right spot. There we go. That's what I'm after. Okay, let's begin this fun and messy process of what's going to be basically just wet blending a bunch of stuff. So we'll go to about there on each side. With the next step up, orange. Swiftly grab the base coat orange. Smush. Smush. And just work
back and forth. None of this, like, I'm gonna just slowly glaze it up layer by layer. Nah, we here to wet blend. Maybe thinned it a little bit too much on the other side, but we'll make it work nonetheless. A little bit more of the rust orange, the base color. And have his body there, so you guys know what the end result's going to look like. Well, I wonder what the Mighty Mealy painting competition is for this month, because I won it last month with some excellent pandering of a Thunderhawk. You know, turns out, if you want to win a painting competition, just paint a ridiculously big model. Like Gargantuan Squigoth's a great option as well. For Orc players. But yeah, I'll have to do a battle report with the Thunderhawk, because I was pleasantly surprised by it, actually. I will say. So the whole premise behind our list was we can just funny and do a single deploy or two model deployment of a combi lieutenant or a Gauss captain plus a ballistus. My entire army could start off the board because of how aircraft reserve rules work. Playing Red Knights, but it started hover every time, and it just bimbled into the mid board where it got full rerolls to hit from being a Warp Main Task Force. I gave it +1 to hit if I needed to from a Tech Priest who just kept keeping it fairly topped up, but that only mattered in the last game. And it just, like, its output's quite good when it shoots. In some, like, against Tyranids, it just, one activation, took a T-Fex down to 2 wounds, even through the blank. When the big cannon, when the laser destructor pops off, it's great. When it doesn't, it massively whiffed in the Chaos Knights game. It only ended up getting 1 wound through, and the guy just saved it on an invuln, so it stopped us getting marked for death. It let them get another 5 points on primary that then turned into 10, 15 because they didn't have to commit anything else over there. And then I lost Thunderhawk, which kind of sucked. But like a lot of people just didn't know what to do when you just throw a here's 30 wounds in their face. I don't think it's competitive at 800 points, but I was very impressed by it. And we had 2 Storm Ravens sort of backing it up. We had like this "don't talk to me or my son" vibes ever again, which was quite fun. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. So I'll have to try and get a doubles game on the tournament, see if I can get Brendan involved for that. If I can find, trying to get 5 people around that room is going to be fairly toasty there. So we'll see. We shall see. What's okay? So Art of War's latest tier list. Sorry, this is what I've got on my screen. They have Guard of Marines as top meta armies. I'm gonna have to watch that and see why they think Guard are up there. I don't think Hammer's all that strong. But we shall see. We shall see indeed. Ooh. I'm still letting this dry before I touch it. We can't really see the blend at the moment between these 2 oranges. Fine, I'll just put another layer on. Fine. I'm very happy with how this has come out so far. Maybe the arm could do with a little bit more touching up, a little bit more work. But looks very pretty on camera, which is all I care about. Look, Ma, I can pretend I can paint. Very nice. Right. Okie dokie, guys. I think I'm just really tired. Like, my brain's just gone, nope, that's it. So we're going to wrap up the stream here. Hopefully you enjoyed this different sort of content. If you do enjoy the content, make sure you leave a like. Let me know in the chat. Painting streams are popular. I will do them more regularly. Hopefully I get some more improvements. Palette camera, better lighting, better backdrop, all of that sort of stuff.
But thank you so much for watching, guys. The new schedule is now Tuesdays and Thursdays for regular battle reports. I will do a community post to update that before too long. So hopefully I'll see you on Thursday for a lovely fun game of Warhammer. Thanks for watching. Bye.